Located in the Long Beach harbor is the Queen Mary, a colossal ship that was bigger, faster, and more powerful than the Titanic. The 1,000-foot ship began her life in 1930 at the John Brown Shipyard in Clyde, Scotland. Sadly, the Depression held up her construction between 1931 and 1934. But she was finally completed, making her maiden voyage on May 27, 1936. For 3 years, the Grand Ocean Liner hosted the world's rich and famous on luxurious adventures across the Atlantic, including the likes of Greta Garbo, Clark Gable, and Sir Winston Churchill. The Queen Mary was considered by the upper class to be the only civilized way to travel, and she held the record for the fastest ever North Atlantic crossing. When the world went back to war in 1939, luxury travel immediately ceased, and the ship was transformed into a troop ship. The Queen Mary was painted a drab gray, hence her nickname, the Gray Ghost. In the duration of the war, the Queen Mary carried more than 800,000 Allied troops and traveled more than 600,000 miles. But tragedy struck in 1942 when the Queen Mary collided with the HMS Kurokawa. The massive Queen Mary split the Kurokawa in two, leaving the cruiser's halves engulfed in flames. She sank 6 minutes later with a loss of 338 men. The luxury steamliner played a significant role in virtually every major Allied campaign, and even participated in the D-Day invasion. After the war, she was withdrawn from service after more than 1,000 transatlantic crossings. But after the war, the world had changed, and as commercial airline travel became more available to the masses, the people forgot about the grand old steamliners. The Queen Mary was sold for $3.45 million to the city of Long Beach, California, for use as a maritime museum and hotel. And on December 9, 1967, she made her final voyage to Long Beach. After 1,001 successful Atlantic crossings, she was permanently docked and soon became the luxury hotel where she remains today. The Queen Mary is internationally recognized as a historic floating hotel and museum that attracts thousands of visitors every year. But the ship is said to also be home to many ghosts. Some people say that the Queen Mary is one of the most haunted places in the world, with as many as 150 known spirits lurking upon the ship. Over the past 60 years, the Queen Mary has been the site of at least 49 reported deaths, not to mention having gone through the horrors of war. So it comes as no surprise that the spectral spirits of her vivid past continue to haunt her rooms and hallways. Located more than 50 feet below the water level is the Queen Mary's engine room, which is said to be a hotbed of paranormal activity. The engine room's infamous Door 13 crushed at least 2 men to death. The most recent death, during a routine watertight door drill in 1966, crushed and killed an 18-year-old crew member. Many people have reported seeing the apparition of the young man, dressed in blue coveralls and sporting a beard, walking down Shaft Alley before disappearing by Door 13. 2 other areas on the ship that have a high occurrence of paranormal activity are the first and second class swimming pools. Although neither pool are utilized today for their original purpose, the spirits seemingly are not aware of that, In the first-class swimming pool, which has been closed for nearly 30 years, women have been seen appearing in 1930s-style swimming suits and wandering the decks around the pool. Some people have reported even hearing the sounds of splashing out of the dry, empty pool and seen wet footprints leading from the deck to the changing rooms. Some have also reported seeing the spirit of a young girl clutching a teddy bear around the pool. And in the second-class pool room, the spirit of another little girl named Jackie is often seen and heard. As the story goes, unfortunate Jackie drowned in the pool back in the ship's sailing days and has refused to move on to the other side. But her voice and sounds of laughter have been captured and recorded here. In the Queen's Salon, which once served as the ship's first-class lounge, a beautiful young woman in an elegant white evening gown has often been seen dancing alone in the shadows in the corners of the room. In the first-class staterooms, reports have been made of a tall, dark-haired man appearing in a 1930s-style suit, as well as water running and lights turning off and on in the middle of the night, phones ringing in the early morning hours, with no one on the other end of the line. Also, in the third-class children's playroom, there have been reports of people hearing a baby crying, which is thought to be the cries of an infant boy who died on the ship shortly after his birth. Other phenomenon occurring throughout the ship are the sounds of distinct knocks, doors slamming, and high-pitched squeals, along with drastic temperature changes from room to room, and scents, smells, and aromas from days long past. These are but a few of the hundreds of reports of paranormal phenomena, ghosts, and strange events occurring on this luxury liner turned hotel in Long Beach, California. So tell me, would you book a room and stay the night on the Queen Mary? Would you be brave enough to go down to the engine room and see door 13? Do you believe that the Queen Mary is really as haunted as everybody says? Or is it really just overhyped? Leave a comment below. We want to hear what you have to say. Also, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. We're going to be having a lot of content coming out here in the next couple weeks. Until then, stay safe and stay on the watch.